Today's Toy Spot, we are having a look at the Diamond Select Marvel Select Avengers Age of Ultron Black Widow Special Collector's Edition action figure. One of the more later released Marvel Select figures from the Avengers Age of Ultron line, Black Widow has now started showing up in local comic book stores, and Spot picked up Black Widow here a couple of days ago actually, so we're going to be having a look at her now. The side of the package features Scarlett Johansson, meow, and on the back, some artwork of ScarJo, as I think they call her as well. Not an actual figure, just in case you thought this fantastic sight was the actual figure. It's not. Also available, though, is the Hulk and Thor, figures that we've already had a look at. Not quite necessarily, that's not the case. Spot did look at the Dark World Thor, which seems to have similar, if not the exact same sculpt to the Avengers Thor. Quick read-up says Natasha Romanoff was trained from a young age to be an assassin, engaging in numerous undercover operations for the KGB until she crossed paths with S.H.I.E.L.D. Agent Clint Barton, codenamed Hawkeye Romanoff, subsequently defected to the U.S., and became an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was Romanoff who infiltrated Iron Man's inner circle, recruited the Hulk to the Avengers, freed Hawkeye from Loki's control, and helped Captain America bring down S.H.I.E.L.D. She really did a lot, actually. With S.H.I.E.L.D. gone and her past laid bare, Widow's only allegiance to the Avengers, where she uses her agility, aim, and art of subterfuge to take down her opponents. Spot really struggled with that read-up. The figure of Black Widow is based on her appearance in Avengers Age of Ultron and includes a base that can be combined with Thor's base to form a scene from the film. Figure sculpted by Gentle Giant Studios. To check out more, you can go to www.diamondselecttoys.com. And Spot's going to take a break. Going to get this opened, and when we come back, we're going to get a better look at Black Widow, the Special Collector's Edition figure. There's more coming your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. First, having a look at the display stand comes with Black Widow. It is nice. A nice sized display diorama display stand. Now, theoretically, it would connect to Thor, but Spot doesn't have the Thor. I only still have the Dark World Thor. So, I think on its own, this stands, no pun intended, well, just to be on its own piece. It doesn't look like it should theoretically connect to anything. My guess is it would connect here, and the display stand would be roughly about this big. It would be big enough to really accommodate, my guess, all the Avengers, even potentially Hulk could probably fit on a stand that big if, again, it connects here. All the other pieces are straight flat, so that's my guess as it would connect here. I just don't have the Avengers Thor. I might pick them up. I'm not quite sure yet. It's on a slightly snow scene. The reason why I say that, it looks like there's like a little bit of snow settling on the some of the spools of cording, as well as some of the little boxes here. So a nice little display stand. I like that. It doesn't, by the way, look like she has any. There's any peg points on it. So when you display the figure, you're only really just going to have her standing on the stand like that. She does a good enough job. She doesn't really require pegs to be on there. So you have the display stand. Before we look at our other accessories, let's have a look at the figure, and maybe we'll start with the face. I think Diamond Select has done a good job on a likeness to not only Black Widow, but of course Scarlett Johansson. I guess maybe as a negative, while the face seems relatively good, maybe a little on the lighter side of complexion, I find like her area right around where her top would have been zippered open, it seems like it's a little on the pasty side for paint application. Face, though, is relatively clean. I think the face is good. Just here seems like it's just a little more on the messier side. The hair is a nice sculpt, too. Nice coloring. They finally have perfected a red hair coloring for Scarlett Johansson for at least the Black Widow character. As you've seen with all the Iron Man appearances, Captain America appearances, and of course the Avengers, her hair has just kind of gone all over the place with coloring. I think for Avengers Age of Ultron, they finally got that color just right. She's got a slight upgrade from what the costume she's worn in previous, the Winter Soldier, and of course the previous Avengers movie. It's similar enough, but just slightly different. Some panel lining down the side of her suit as well as on the arms. She's got some additional burgundy color in her arm areas around where her gauntlets would be. It's a good looking figure. I think it's really solid. She does come again with some accessories. She comes with a very small pistol, as you can see right there, that you can either put into her hand or, which you can also do too, she has a side holster, which, looking at the other accessories that she comes included with, I might be more inclined to put the pistol in her holster, which seems to struggle a little bit to get in there. I might put the pistol in her holster, and then I might keep like her hands free for her shock sticks, and that's not the correct term for them, but probably more inclined to display her with those. Now her hands currently do technically have open hands. They could easily hold these, though a little more on the looser side. She does also have interchangeable hands. Now the hands themselves look like they're just a swap to one another. If you see what I'm saying here, the one hand looks like it holds ideally a gun, because you can see her finger extends out as if it's holding a trigger. The other hand, on the other hand, is just a gripping, holding hand. The interchangeable hands, however, look like they're the opposite to the hands that are currently on there. So the other hand is similar to this hand, where it's just, as you can see, meant for holding something, but then the other hand looks like it's holding weapons. So if you want the gun over here, maybe you want it over here instead, you could swap it out of that. Or really, for any numerous different Marvel Select figures that have been released, there's tons of different weapons. So I mean, you could give Black Widow here a ton of different options for gun accessories. Let's say for the sake of this, we're going to unpeg the hand here, like so. It's a little stiffer. Ah, it is really stiff. There we go. And we're going to swap it out with the other gripping or holding hand. And we're just going to apply, again, a little bit of pressure. It's sadly a smaller peg, and it wants to move around a little bit when you're putting it in. There we go. And then we can take her sticks. And as you can see, they still sit in her hand, but they don't sit tight. They do sit loose. At least the tops of the sticks are broader than the tip, the ends, so at least they're not going to fall out of her hands. But any bit of movement, you can see that they will slide out of her hands very easily, which is a shame. Kind of wish that the hands were a little more closed shut, that they could accommodate these without them just simply sitting in place by the fact of the angle of the hand, or by the fact that the ends are, again, broader. When it comes to Black Widow's accessories, or excuse me, when it comes to her articulation, her head is on a ball joint, does hinge up and down and swivels all the way around. Shoulders hinge out quite easily and all the way around. She has a hinge in the elbow, which also allows the forearm to rotate, a rotation in the hand. She has a ball joint, but the ball joint sits right underneath her her assets. She does have the ball joint there, ball joint in the legs, a swivel in the top of the thigh, a double bend knee, and finally a hinge in the foot. One figure, by certainly one of the figures that we had to wait a little longer to get. She wasn't released at the same time as the likes of Hulk. I certainly checked my local comic book stores frequently to see when she was going to be released, and she always seemed to come a little bit later. She was scheduled for a little bit later, but now that she's arrived, a pretty good looking piece. She has a little bit in the way of imperfections, I would say, around, again, that chest area. But the face, without any doubt, definitely looks like Scarlett Johansson. If you guys get a chance and you've been collecting the other Marvel Select Avengers pieces, I would definitely say pick this one up, add it to your collection. As also, Spot always would say, also support your comic book stores. Check them out. You might find figures like this. You might find some other really cool goodies too. So support your local comic book stores. Today's Toy Spot, we were again looking at the Diamond Select Toys Avengers Age of Ultron Black Widow. Thanks for watching. See you next time.